I moved into what's considered a luxury apartment. I'm moving back in with my friends in the house before, and this was the first time I really tried designing my living space. After this, I moved back into my parents' house, which my mother affectionately refers to as the Pokemon Center, because it's where we go to recover after another leg of our journeys. So I stayed there for a minute before moving again, and this time was much further away. I stayed at my abuela's house for a bit before moving into a more permanent unit. 3 bedroom, 2 bathroom, but one of the rooms was always empty. And I got a super cheap deal on the rent because the landlord is actually my childhood friend's dad, so he cut me a deal. Downside is I had to live with the landlord, but he was away most weekends and all summer, so I basically had the place to myself 60% of the time. And this place was actually pretty nice. It was the first time I'd had a full-size bed outside of my parents' house, and there was so much storage space. And it was all just built into the walls, so I didn't have to get furniture or anything. See, I'm what I like to call an organized mess. My style is to just chuck everything haphazardly into a box, but I know what category of junk should be in each drawer. So I just love having a bunch of shelves and cabinets I can just throw things into. But then if I have enough boxes, I always know roughly where to go to find something. Keys, somewhere on the outlet shelf. Pen, somewhere in the second drawer of my desk. Band-aids, somewhere on the third shelf from the right. Where exactly is it? No idea, but somewhere in that box. Anyways, had a whole system for this place. But then there was this big earthquake that burst a pipe in the wall that flooded the place, that made the walls grow black mold and the flooring all uneven, so I just moved out. I stayed in a hostel for some time after this, but there were very little tourists during this time because it was during the COVID era, so I was living in the 8-person dorm room, but 80% of the time there was only 2 of us in there. So I ended up staying there for a couple months because the rent was cheap and it was honestly pretty fun, kind of like being in the uni dorms again. The hostel was just this inherently social place. But after this, I moved back in with my grandparents for a while I kind of got my stuff together. And then next, I moved far away from all of my relatives and into this semi-abandoned attic room thing. It's owned by this one-eyed retired special forces officer, and he hadn't shown up for years, so somebody just hooked me up with the keys and I was just there for a while. The 1-point perspective I drew this with really doesn't properly represent how tiny this unit was. Here, let me change to my full-grown avatar. In real life, just reaching my hands up and getting on my toes, I could probably touch the ceiling, and laying down, fingertips to toes, I could probably reach across the room horizontally as well. There was this tiny little shower in the corner that was maybe 1.5 of my shoulder width, both wide and long, just in the corner next to the door, and the ceiling slanted down to where the bed was. So I've definitely hit my head before, oh. But it's actually really cool. We had this little sunroof thing that you could open up and just catch the view from up there. There wasn't a toilet attached though. We had to go use the common one downstairs, shared with all the other building residents. But there was a laundromat and a game cafe right downstairs on the same block, and a bakery that I could go to every morning down the street, plus a late night kebab shop for those midnight snacks just around the block. So I stayed here for a hot minute, but then I ended up moving back into my parents' house while I figured out what I was gonna do next. Next, I moved into this extremely suspicious hotel in the city where my new job was gonna be. It was very, not ideal. And I was informed afterwards that this place was most likely a front for, how do we say, illicit activities? Yeah. Got out of there as soon as possible. Spent, I think, 3 weeks there, and then ended up crashing in my friend's room. Again, mat on the floor kind of deal. Stay tuned.